Hey loves, hey loves, and welcome back. I hope you all had an absolutely amazing weekend and that the week ahead is so beautiful for you. Listen, I am the CEO and founder of Love Esteem, Antoinette Malcolm. Love Esteem is an organization that creates an atmosphere where young ladies can be themselves. We promote inner beauty and we're built on the foundations of self-esteem, self-love, and self-care. Last week, we spoke about writing it down, writing your vision, writing what you imagine. This week, I want you to confess it. I want you to go back. I know it's a lot of homework. I get it. Like Antoinette, you had us imagine it. Now you got us writing down. Now you got us confessing. Listen, this is what God told me to tell you. I'm just being honest. And he not only told me to tell you this, he told me this too, but I just figured that, I'll share the knowledge and what he's saying in my time of prayer with you all. So, after you've imagined it, after you imagine that thing, imagine what it is that you desire for God to do in your life. You've written it down. Now, after you've written it down, you've wrote the vision. Now I want you to confess it. See, the Bible tells us that the tongue, there is power of life and death in the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof, whether it be life or whether it be death. Your tongue is more powerful than you think. After you've written that thing down, begin to confess it. Begin to confess that you're going to go to this closing table with no money down. You're going to go to this closing table not having to pay any closing costs. Confess that your children will be going to college and they will be debt free, that their tuition will be paid off. Confess that you will leave a legacy not only for your grandchildren, but for your great-great-grandchildren. Confess that you will pass this exam. Confess that God will give you the ability to go to this car dealership and get this vehicle drive off the lot without having to put any money on it. Begin to confess those things. Because as you confess it, as you speak it, as you set the tone of it, as you begin to say that this will be the best week on this job, I won't be stressed. These people gonna act right. This atmosphere gonna be conducive. They not gonna trip. When you begin to confess that these kids gonna be all right, they gonna go to summer camp or they gonna stay out of my way. Let me get some things done. We gonna show them how to fix these snacks. They gonna be all right. When you begin to confess that thing, not only do you speak it into the atmosphere, and not only are you speaking life into it, but you're also making things happen for you. Making things happen for you. Like I mentioned last week's video, and if you have not looked at it, go back and look at it. Jesus knew what some of these people needed in the Bible. He knew that some of these people needed healing. He knew that some of these people needed deliverance. He knew this. But there are times when he asked them, what is it that you desire? What do you need? What do you need me to do? They had to speak that thing. They had to speak that thing. And a lot of times, he told them, get up your bed and walk. Your faith has made you whole. The fact that you were bold enough to speak it, it happened for you. There are so many things in the Bible where God tells us to speak. Speak to this mountain and tell it to move from here to there, and it will move. I believe that first you had to imagine in your mind that that mountain was going to move for you. Then you had to get bold enough to say, this mountain going to move. And then you had to speak to the mountain so that it could move. You have to open up your mouth. There are a lot of times where I would have dreams. And sometimes in these dreams, I couldn't speak. And I'm like, God, what? Nothing's coming out. Nothing was coming out. And I'm like, why can't I speak? There are times when your situation, your circumstance will get so frustrating. There are times when you've imagined the beautiful life that you desired. You've written it down. But you get so frustrated in that transition and season that you don't even want to talk about it. Man, I'm tired of talking about that because every time I talk about it, I get upset. I'm tired of talking about it because every time I talk about it or every time I say it, it never happens. Baby, every year I kept saying, I'm going to buy me a house. I'm going to buy me a house. I'm going to buy me a house. Every year I would say it. Every year I would say it. Every year I would say it. To the point where, honey, I was still in my apartment like, now listen, these folks gonna think I'm crazy because I keep saying I'm gonna buy a house and I get home. Yeah. But oh, one good day in August of 2018, what I confessed manifested. What I confessed became reality. What I confessed took on flesh. Listen. Let's take a trip back to Genesis. God had to imagine a world where life was roaming. Because remember that the earth was void. There was nothing on it. Nothing. It was dark. God had to imagine that thing. And God being God, I'm quite sure he wrote it down in detail how he was going to go ahead and put these pieces together. And he spoke and he confessed, let there be light. And there was light. So you mean to tell me that you just gonna stop at writing it on your vision board, on your prayer wall? You just gonna stop at writing it down? You not gonna confess it? Or you just gonna write it down and then confess it when it gets close to the deadline that you set for it? No. You don't confess that you pregnant the 9th month. No, you say, listen, I'm pregnant. Baby, you had a little piece of paper with the little ultrasound on it, and from the time that it starts up until you begin to say, you say it so much that people begin to see it and they celebrate that. Okay, yeah, all right. And that same baby is birthed out. You don't prepare for it or say that you're pregnant when you're in the delivery room. No. But what you do is you confess it. Listen, I know people have planned their children. Now listen, when this one turns 5, we're going to try for another one. That's a confession. I remember when I went and got my car last year. I remember calling my mom. I said, Mom. And before I even called her, let me go back. Before I even called her, I kept saying, God, I don't know how you're going to give me a car. But I know before the end of the year, I'll be in a new car. I don't know how you're going to do it. But I know that before this year ends, I'll be in a new car. Now, God, don't kill me. I was specific. God, please don't kill me. Don't kill me. I don't want an accident, but if that's how I got to get a new car, that's fine. Just don't let me be banged up and bruised up a little too much where I can't enjoy it. And I remember calling my mom right before I went to the lot. I went to one lot. I was sitting there. The people was about to run. And I was like, nah, I don't even, this ain't it. No, it's okay. I got to go, sir. I went to another dealership where the favor of God completely forgot about like this particular thing. And God allowed me to be in the right position at the right time and being able to know the right people. But what I'm saying is I confessed it. And just because I knew this particular person didn't mean that this was going to work out. But I kept confessing that, God, I don't know how you're going to do this for me, but I know you're going to do it. I remember taking everything out of my old car. Now, baby, I wasn't pre-approved for nothing. I didn't do listen. I remember taking everything out of my old vehicle the night before I went to the dealership. I remember waking up that morning and calling my mom. I said, Mom, I don't know how God is going to do this, but I am driving off of the lot with a new car. I won't be in this car. I won't be in this car. Can I just say that when I got to the dealership, sat there, the vehicle that I thought I was getting was not even the model that I have. I thought big of, God, I want a car, but I put a date on it. Don't put a cap on God. Think big. Don't put a cap on God. Baby, if you want a 2022, God, I want a 2022. I sat in a dealership, gave them the keys to the old one, drove off the lot with a new one with 14, 16 miles on it, which means that nobody drove that car. Nobody owned that vehicle. The vehicle that I had, nobody owned it. With no money down. Let me just brag on my God. No money down. So I need you to understand that when you imagine the impossible, when you write down what you desire for God to do for you, and then you go and confess that thing, it puts your faith into position to be blessed. It puts you in position to be blessed. Favor has no other choice. That situation has no other choice but to submit to the authority that God has given you. I'm out of time, but listen. Next week is going to be even better. It's going to be even better. Listen. But make sure, please, that you like, you subscribe, you share. Like I said before, you never know who needs this. Tap it, copy the link, send it to everybody in your phone. Man, woman, boy, girl, send it to them. Because you just never know. And once you do that, make sure that you have those bell notifications on so you can let the world know what we're doing on this side of town. I love you all so much. I pray that you are bold enough to confess everything that you've written down that you desire for God to do for you. I pray that you do it, whether it be small, whether it be big. Write it down, confess it, and watch God work. Watch God begin to have it orchestrated in your life. And if you're new to the channel and you just so happen to stumble upon this, thank you so much for staying. And if you stumbled upon the channel and Jesus is not your Lord and Savior, accept Him today. It's very simple. Another confession. Believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, that He died and rose with all power in His hands just for you. I love you all so much. I'll see you next week. Make sure that you comment because I will respond. Okay? Okay. I love you all. Mwah.